Amos Abrams, Mark Ackerman, Patrick Adams, residents of AIDS Care, Phil Ainsworth, Gary Alexander, Peter Allen, Victor Allen.
Act up, demanding attention, was an act of hope. The education to try to cut back on the spread of HIV was an act of hope. Gathering in Washington, sewing quilt patterns, reading names, caring for loved ones, so many witnesses of hope. And it may have felt like despair in those moments, and maybe still to this day, you're like, I'm not hopeful, and yet you're here, and you're acting, and you're not letting the despair win, but instead you are living hope. And so I thank you, because it is an inspiration. Within our community, it's an inspiration to the world. And we need to continue to gather, to continue to read the names, to continue to remember, to continue to act in hope. So thank you for your witness of hope in whatever form that has been over time, today, and going into tomorrow.
I first conceived of this series of events back in 1992, the year of the Fourth World AIDS Day, because there was very little in which the general public could participate. If you were wealthy, you might attend an on-far banquet, or if a gung-ho activist, you might take to the streets and demonstrate with ACT UP. But the only way most people were able to acknowledge World AIDS Day was by looking out their windows at the night without light, in which some of the major buildings in New York City extinguished their exterior lighting from 7:45 to 8 p.m. For the first Out of the Darkness 27 years ago, more than 1,000 people gathered in Madison Square Park. And as we saw the lights go out on the Empire State Building and others within view, we lit our candles in memory of those whom we'd lost and in hope of seeing an end of AIDS. In 1994, when Rudy Giuliani became mayor of New York and established himself as an enemy of AIDS activism by waging an ongoing battle with Housing Works and by working to dismantle the Division of AIDS Services, we altered our event to be in solidarity with Housing Works Vigil at City Hall.
So the journey of acceptance, though, it is a struggle, right? It is a struggle. But I believe fully that the vehicle that will take us through that struggle is the ship that we call love. And I believe fully that love is the ship in that vehicle. That no matter where you are in your process of acceptance, if you anchor yourself and if you steer those tides, you will find yourself at the destination of acceptance of those that you may have struggled because you just didn't have the understanding or the knowledge or the information to ground yourself in that acceptance.
2014, Jason gave us an article that was in a magazine in reference to him coming out with having the virus, and he just handed it to us to read, and it just hit me so hard because I'm thinking I'm going to lose my child when I read this, and that was my biggest fear. I don't wanted Jason to die before me, and so that was my fear, and it shocked us all because of the way we just read the article, and he's telling it to the world, and that's the way we found out. But then I read up on it some more, and I realized that he's not dying with it, he's living with it. and that was, and he's so healthy. And that was, like I said, that was my biggest fear of dealing with it. I was never ashamed of him. And my biggest fear is how others would treat him, because in the black community it's rough for a man to be gay. And even with my family, sometimes they still say the F word. And that goes all through me.
Fabulous.
But it goes all through me that you still can say that word, you know, and I have to straighten out my couple family members about, don't say that. About my son, do not say that in my home or around him. I can't understand how they still find it appropriate to say that.
Thank you, Krishna, for inviting me. This is last year was the first time I ever came out as HIV positive. I was diagnosed September 16th, 1999, and I was never really proud of my HIV status. And sometimes it's hard for me to get up in front of people and talk about it, and it's just so nice to see a mom supporting her son. I really, So when I was diagnosed, my mom at the time, she had been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.